to another exciting episode of the Guys Connect. We're excited today to bring you a topic that I believe you will find very educating and very, very interesting. But before we go to discuss that, I'd like to introduce our guests and our co-host first. PK.
Thank you. Good to be here. We're going to have a great time.
And also, I'm praying for the first time on the Guys Connect. Sochi, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
I'll call you Soch.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Thank you
of
for
course,
having me.
J. Joss is back. He says now JT.
It's not JT.
So
Update.
Update. And of course, Vicadex.
Always active.
Always active. Thank you very much. Today we'll be looking at a topic, discussing a topic that I strongly believe. I think I referenced in the last episode where we're talking about, of course, soft men and hard men, but we're talking about masculinity. And the question today is masculinity under attack or under evolution? Because depending on who you ask, somebody will tell you, there are some words that when you talk about the subject of masculinity that we've learned, whether learned or that becomes so of use, whether contextually, wrongly or rightly, you hear, toxic masculinity. You hear misogynists. You hear some of these words, and sometimes, one will wonder, it's almost as if masculinity is being questioned, and or is it being destroyed, or is being refined, and that's what we'll be looking at today. What is masculinity? What is expected of masculinity? The first question I want to ask, and I think this will help us to start this episode very well, is who defines masculinity now? Is it the culture, general culture? Is it women? Or is it men themselves? Who is defining masculinity? Vicades, I'll go with you.
To be honest, it's a chaotic. I'm not sure I have the answer.
Yeah. I
think everybody's trying to define what a man should be, what masculinity is, and we don't have a consensus. I think it's like, when they try to define a subject to you in secondary school, and they say, there is no agree, there's no, different people have different definition, but biology is bios and logos. I think we've not reached that stage with masculinity. People are still trying to explain different parts of it, and there's no clear definition yet, in my own opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Victor, to a great extent, is very right with that. And like you have said, it's a very, very important topic. And remember that Guys Connect is also to be able to provide some level of clarity and perspective to help our audiences. So I will call it an evolution from your question earlier on, not an attack. So things have evolved and it keeps evolving. And if we're asking who is the cause of it and who is to respond, I think that is not just one thing. I think both the culture itself is bringing about the change and demanding response from the man. Then there's also the power in the man to be able to determine his response.
Yeah.
Then the women also are a major factor in this evolution, because what they demand now differ from the previous generations and from woman to woman. For some women, masculinity will be protection. Yeah. Just show me strength. Show me, because women always need a cover, no matter how strong they appear. Like I used to tell my friends that, hey, I don't really think women are difficult. I just think that a man needs to get to a certain level of emotional attitude to be able to understand who they are. Yeah. They are not essentially created to be stronger. Yeah. So it's just to study. And I'm a Christian. Scripture says we should study them and treat them according to knowledge. So what we are dealing with now is multifaceted, hydra-headed. Depending on who you are dealing with, what satisfies them. Some women, the only masculinity they want from you is money. Provide me money and you're a man. If you like, look after me. If you like, ask where am I? I don't need all that. Give me money. The latest hair, I want to buy it. Then you are a man to me. Yeah. Some of them will say, no, I don't need all that. Just be a father. Be present. Yeah. So a man will now ask, so how will I be all this? How can I be all this? At the same time. So that's what we're dealing with, and we're going to really explore them as we go ahead.
Doesn't evolution connote an attack?
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to, but I'm sure.
If you are not ready, it's an attack.
So I believe, Newton's law says things will remain at rest unless an external force acts on it. Yeah. So it's the external force that is acting on masculinity that is causing the evolution.
The evolution, right? Okay, so from that perspective, I get external forces definitely. That's what is affecting.
No, I'll still come back to you.
But
guys
how you respond,
that.
whether an attack or not.
Yeah, I'll still come back to you guys on that. I'd like to hear from JT, then I'll hear from Soch. Same question.
Yeah, so I think of drivers, three things: culture, economics, and just environment. When I think of that question, and to me, it sounds more like certain parts of masculinity are being attacked, and certain other areas are just being, should I say, there's a call for it to be brought to the fore, right? There are other areas that people are calling for more emphasis, which in time past, if we're removing those things that are being attacked, you are going to have to emphasize those things more so that we can fill in the gap.
Yeah.
Because one thing that certainly always would be a disadvantage to people is incompleteness, right? If something is supposed to be holistic, but there are holes in it, it's going to be a problem.
I like that, and I'm also going to come back to that because I think you are closer to what I think is a mixture of both. Because, for example, if you speak to an average woman, no matter whatever level you attain, you still want a man who is able to provide, for example.
Yeah.
But when the provision is not tied to probably some kind of, somebody's when we're talking about for the position of leadership, then that's where you're talking, are you trying to dominate? Are you trying to do that? Then you might switch again to probably in a position where, you need to be able to provide some level of emotional cover, or they want you to be that. No, so it's almost as there's a part of it that is being, we like your masculinity in this state, but when it comes to this aspect, no, that's not masculinity. We're going to come to that. But I want to hear Soch. What's your thought? Do you think masculinity is being attacked or is being refined, or do you think what's influencing masculinity? Women, men themselves, or even generally the culture?
Okay, I think I will go with Mr. JT. He made mention of culture. I think currently, looking at what's going on in the society now, the culture has influenced a whole lot of things. Yeah. And looking at where most guys are right now, you hear some saying, as a guy, you don't have to cry. As a guy, you definitely need to be the boss at home and so on and so forth. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you need to understand, like Pastor PK said, you need to understand that, yes, whatever influences the probably may actually be the women, may actually be the culture, and also can as well be whatever is around your environment. So for me, there's a whole lot of
so essentially you think is a combination of all three elements.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to go back to I said I was going to come back to you, and of course what you just said. So because you hear the phrase toxic masculinity, and I've always had that question: what makes masculinity toxic? What traits do we say? There's a part where it's the women that are saying it, and there's a part where maybe with information and with evolution in the world and culturally, you as men also can agree. Okay, this thing that men do, probably men before us will do, I think is a bit not okay. So, what are those traits, if I may ask, that you think could constitute toxicity, or what are those traits that you think that is not toxic, but it's just somebody just trying to put a color to it and call it being toxic?
I think toxic masculinity is a problematic phrase.
Yeah, I think so
perhaps
too.
it's also the perfect phrase when we deconstruct it.
Yes.
Everything in life is toxic at a certain level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can drink water to the point that you die from drinking water from hydration.
Sure.
Oxygen that's essential for life can be toxic. I think there's something called the liter dose average. And what that means is there is a particular volume of at that particular volume in your bloodstream that becomes a poison to you. So all of these traits that we are calling toxic masculinity, they are not toxic themselves. It's when they get to a degree, they become problematic. Now, the problem is, how do you define that level? Unlike other poisonous substance, the level at which that trait becomes toxic now varies from culture to culture, from woman to woman, from organization to organization.
Yeah.
Take aggression, for example. If you're a CEO in Nigeria, you must really be aggressive to make progress. Right? You need that trait to be successful. Now, with different women can accept a level of aggression depending on their personality. So again, what's toxic about masculine aggression or male aggression is now you can't find the balance to it.
I think it would have been good to have a woman to probably come help us define because I believe that phrase is used. Permit me, I may be wrong.
Blanket
used
phrase.
more blanket, especially by women. I really think a man will say, "Oh, a trait is toxic" to a fellow man. I think most times you hear that phrase.
I've hardly heard that.
So maybe it would have been good to get maybe a woman phoning or calling or sending a message. So what's when you say toxic masculinity? What is those things those indicators? I agree with you 100% because even what is good. Salt is good to make your food taste. Too much of salt is bad.
It's all about regulation.
So before we even get to because we need to even agree on what those traits are before we not even talk at what level is too much. So for me, I think that's where my challenge is.
So I think I was going at that level so that it set the expectation when we talk about those traits that they're not inherently bad themselves.
Okay.
One of them would be asking for help, showing emotional vulnerability. Men have been accused not to show emotional vulnerability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Men have been accused of not opening up. And those are like things that when women don't see in men, they think this is probably a toxic situation. When I was speaking about aggression earlier, it's about, the drive, for example. Drive cannot be switched to become this man does not listen. He only does what he wants to do. He doesn't listen to counsel or advice from other people. Those are some of those traits that people have considered are now considering to be toxic, or being driven and you're given to work, you're given to everything else, and you don't have adequate time to be with the person you claim to love.
Josh, I think you're itching. Okay. I'll come to Sochi, but I think Josh has been itching.
Yeah, because I'm trying to tease out what he's saying. Yeah. I'm seeing when a woman feels unheard, unseen, and not taken care of. Yeah. Or maybe the better way to put it is unsafe.
Okay.
Unseen, unsafe, unheard.
Okay.
Those are
those things.
I think that's
I will take we'll take touch, right?
Yeah. Okay. So for me it's when most women use the word you are too bossy.
Okay.
At home.
So like being aggressive.
Aggressive, you don't listen. You just take decisions like, okay, you just wake up in the morning, decide to take decisions on your own. So these are traits for me.
Okay.
So someone shared a video with me yesterday, just yesterday night. In fact, your wife was also in the know.
Okay.
How that genuinely asking, short video about a man who was telling his wife, they just had a quarrel and they reconciled. But then the woman decided to serve the man in bed, like in the room, and decided to eat separately. Although before now they used to eat together. Okay. So the man, in telling the woman that you don't have to do this, we just apologize to each other. We should get back to. But the tone with which he was saying it was now the main theme of discourse.
Yeah.
Something like, I have told you that you don't do this. Next time you're supposed to do this. You keep doing this thing. More like speaking to her.
His slave.
He was making sense, but the tone. I was even saying, hey, if you're talking to your daughter, maybe it's fairly acceptable to talk this. I mean, it was like a boss. So I think we should not use. I know you don't mean to use the word boss.
Yeah.
I think we should not use the word boss within the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So but I know what you mean. You just mean leader, right? So and then very condescending, commanding, and there are men who are alive today, young men, who feel that has to be the way to talk to a woman. So I was opining that if your daughter, maybe you could do this. The lady in our discourse was your wife said, hey, that even she feels that even for a daughter is too toxic.
Okay,
you see.
So much.
So I think it's that thing in a man that feels as if since I'm the head, I can talk to anyone anyhow.
Sure.
There's that.
Yeah.
So
what they consult with.
Still sound like all three elements: unsafe, unheard, unseen.
Okay. So then that leads me to my next thought. Are we in the process of trying to pick out these traits or these issues with masculinity? Are we all subconsciously now silencing men?
I would say it's silencing certain aspects of men. And here's why I say that. Because I liked Victor's example with aggression, right? You see a guy that all he puts out, ladies want a guy that can protect. So if you are macho, you can flex muscles. The lady will feel like, yes, that's what she wants. But she's only seeing one dimension of that person. By the time she sees other facets of that person, and she's only finding that level of aggression. Say, for instance, you can't resolve conflict amicably. Everything aggression.
Sure.
He's awake in the morning, straight. He's already, on go mode. It then creates a problem, right? So that's why I would not, readily see things and then just be like, yes, this is the way to go. I think, again, it needs to be holistic. If we're talking about toxicity, I think, even in fact, yes, it's a bit loosely used, but still, if something is injurious to another gender, if something is not paying attention to serving the other gender and then using that as a platform to even get what you want, rather than manipulating or, all of those other things just to get what you want, it's definitely a problem.
So I would like to take that a little bit apart with my nuanced bias. It's one, there's a gap between intention and experience. Someone may not intend to harm the opposite gender, and your action cause harm. There's a gap there.
Yeah.
Number two is with toxic masculinity, it becomes so blanket, there is no place for nuance or for grace. For example, I had received a message and I reached out to PK and I said, when I got this message, I was riled up. If I had responded in that emotional state, the feedback I would have gotten is, you're not listening. You've not heard the feedback that I've given to you. And it would have come back, that's how men do. They are toxic. Anything that touches their ego, they don't listen. And I had to have a conversation with PK, like, okay, I want to be able to separate that. I understand that this other person is also human. I was able to acknowledge their intent. This person means well. They want what's good for me. I can pick the genuine things in what they are saying to me. And I'm able to say, okay, maybe in this area, their emotion maybe came out too strongly. And that may be because they care too strongly.
Yeah.
Now, if I was a woman and this person was a man, I could have termed that as toxic.
Yeah.
But because I'm able to put all of these things in place, even though it appeared as if the avenue adds certain element of toxicity, I'm able to put together the intention, the benefit of this conversation, the potential for harm, and able to sift that through a phase and make the best of the situation. And I think that is largely missing in conversation around toxicity. But on the other hand, it's also, we're having some conversation with friend last night, and I'm like, on certain things we can be understand, but there are certain things that we will put our foot on. Like, if you raise your hand to beat a woman, it doesn't matter. That's a strong, hard line you cannot cross. With me, you cannot cross it. On that line, it's a deal breaker. It's a no for me. But in other things, we can reason it out. We can discuss it. And when we have such conversations in the future, we're able to say, like Yoruba people say, Mumo warale mi shebu. Like, you know that this person has the propensity to be this, to do this. I will take that into account, into factor when I deal with them. And I think that's largely missing when we talk about masculinity, even though we know things like the manosphere is highly toxic. Yeah.
And I think that's always been my own challenge with this subject. I feel like there are two things that we are missing. There is who is defining what is toxic, and who, in the process of evolution, are we losing some other things? Because the question, for example, you have cancer, you want to do chemotherapy, you want to do chemotherapy, in the process of trying to kill the cancerous cell, you're also killing the good cell. At what point were we able to separate that? Because the truth is that, just like you said, and I think why we have this issue and we're continuing to have it, is that we judge other people by their actions. And we judge ourselves by intention. So the person who is receiving it, your own intention of trying to say things in the way you want to say it, because you want to be able to drive purpose, you want to drive action, you want to push people, push your team to, or even push the family to achieve a certain goal. But somebody else receives it as, oh, are you trying to boss me around? Are you trying to do this and that? So we are always going to have that challenge. And which leads me to the next question. In the process of we talked about evolution of masculinity. In the process of doing that, what positive traits are we losing? We're talking about the negative traits that we say, okay, this could be toxic. For example, the one talking about aggressive, which is one of the things that help men to achieve, But at the same time, it can also be toxic. So now, in the process of separating that, doing the surgical operation to separate the toxic one, are we subconsciously not losing some positive trait, which, like you said, in some dose can be good, and another dose can be interpreted as not. So, are there any of those traits, positive traits, that we may be losing in masculinity in the process of trying to go through that evolution?
Yeah, so there's a way that a woman can relate with her husband at home and reduces the confidence of the man outside.
Yeah, emasculated.
Yeah, so while you're trying to be the man that is emotionally available and understanding, like Victor was saying, sometimes it's lopsided. Yeah. You are able to interpret and understand with people, but then they are not able to interpret and understand with you. Yeah. Now, the same way in relating with your wife, for example, you have developed this protective tendency and everything, softer, just trying to be there. You don't know when that trait will become necessary out there. So you have to sit down with your spouse, for example, and reach a balance. See, on this matter, I may raise my voice a little bit, just so you will know the importance of this. I'm not going to shout, okay? But I won't condone everything. Because just like we have said before, there are neural pathways in our brain. There's a way you just want to understand. When you need me to go out and achieve something with strength, you have trained me to be weak. Yeah. So because I need, in a way, sorry for you. I agree. Because I'm supposed to be weak towards you so that you will not feel I'm bossy. Yeah. But then I also need to be a lion in my business. Yeah. So where do I draw the line? So I'm going to be who I'm supposed to be within the house, but also be ready, be a cushion. Understand my motive, so I may sound somehow at some point is not personal and it's not an attack. Yeah. It's just part of what is intrinsically man, and I have to be that man outside. So I think that's something I feel that is under threat. Yeah, one of the things.
Let me give my personal example, and then you're still going to speak on this. And I think it's something I struggle with. So I was raised by a military man defense and being protective is something I'm very, very high on. It's about, okay, you're going out. I don't have a problem with you going out.
Almost on red alert.
Sorry?
I see you're almost on red alert.
Yes, I'm already just, okay, I want to know where you're going, how long are you going to stay there. I may not even call you throughout where you're there, but once the time frame is given, I want to know, where are you? That kind of stuff. Somebody can read it to, he's trying to be
controlling
and all that, which is what I had with some of the people I was, because I had non-biological children that I'm raising. And so, it's almost as if you are, the seed. So I now go to the other part, I switch off. So because I'm trying to, so that they don't think I'm too, and now on one of those cases, something happened. But my instinct would have been, following up with you, where are you? But because I don't want to, let me just go, something now. So at what point, you are trying to not be what they think you are. Yeah. Now you now switch off that so much that you now, and now for a long period, I was blaming myself. Maybe if I had been a bit more, this would have happened. Yes, it could still have happened, but a part of you will feel like, maybe if I had been a bit more like protective, a bit more, controlling, as they will interpret it, to say, where are you? What are you doing? Have you left there? All those things. So it's a dangerous,
it's a two-way thing.
Balance. So so it's a trait that I almost lost because I'm trying to conform. Go through the evolution of, don't problem, do whatever you do, just tell me, it's fine. But so I just wanted to give that example to make it to portray what he's saying, that in the place of trying to do that, you may also lose something.
I think Chips had it.
Yeah, so you want to say something?
So in addition to what PK said, I think another thing again we need to understand or also consider has to do with two persons, or the man and the woman getting to know each other.
Yeah.
You understand? So I'm getting married to this person. Let's say I'm getting married to this person. And at the end of the day, this person should understand every trait that I have. At least whether this, that, and so on and so forth. Now, if at the end of the day, the lady, quote and in quotes, needs to understand that me as a human being is somebody that loves protecting my circle, which is my family. So all she needs to do, one, sometimes, is to avoid something that might raise me, either raising my voice at her or so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, as a man, you also need to balance it.
Yeah, I get your point, but the question they will ask is
how?
Because the challenge has always been this, and I think we can't get to the end of this conversation. I really wish we could take more time on this, because the challenge is just like we're unable to say exactly what is influencing this so-called change or evolution: the culture, the women, or the men themselves. If you ask me, I would say more of the two: the culture and the women, not even the men, because over time is something that you've seen, and that's why you now see a lot of men, especially maybe not in this part of the world, who are not raised by their dads, and so there's no. So society like them.
I have a problem.
I have a problem with that. So society will like them because they may likely conform to the feminine side that raised you. Subconsciously, you are also losing something in the process. I'm not saying that all men who are raised by women will lose their masculinity. I'm not saying that. I'm only saying that there's always going to be a
place of balance.
So the same way, the example you gave ideally would have been okay. But someone will say, okay, why do I need to tone down myself to try to understand him? Why can't he just not even be that in the first instance? So there's always going to be a cyclic conversation that you're going to have that may not even get to the end. But because of our time, I'd like to hear our final thoughts on this topic, and what you thought you want to share and your final thought. Then
I think there are two things we're losing. Number one is grit and resilience.
Yeah.
And I think PK has alluded to that. Number two is also we are costing men sanity and stability. Because when there is no defined social contract, you don't know how to behave. When the expectation of you keeps changing, you become mad. Because in every interaction you are in, you have to redefine what the expectation is. So you become unstable. When you meet this person, because of their expectation of you, you are this way. When you're with another person, and then the human mind wants some semblance of sense and stability. Structure, and that's where a lot of mental issues are coming. People are losing their sense of self. There's dysmorphia. We don't know who we are anymore. This what I'm supposed to, if there is, for example, if there's a snake in the building, the men are supposed to go and kill it. Right? But when it comes to other things, so men and women are this. When it comes to transporting fridge, it's you that will go and do it. So again, every time things are changing, and it's not very stable for the human mind.
Josh?
Yeah, I think for me, what's being lost is the balance, right? When I think of leadership, I think of men that are supposed to lead with vision and purpose, put drive into things, but I see that being lost. On another hand, I see a loss of balance when it comes to even simple things like making money decisions. See, I mean, and there are things that irritate me. One being when a guy is indecisive over food. Okay, just point and kill. We go to a restaurant, you're like, what will I eat today? I don't even know, self. This. Figure out what is available in front of you and make a decision. Don't come off, like that's being lost. There's the place of, I still remember, you know what, I'm trying to just keep it in a bunch, right? But for me, one thing I think if we essentially need to have is that continued sense of, yes, even as the goalposts keep shifting, I'm not going to blame any gender, but that continued sense of, okay, I need to continue learning must not be lost, right?
All right, Such.
I think I agree with JT 100%. For everything you need to do as a man, you need to learn how to balance it. for every situation you find
Balance
yourself.
is hard, though, but go ahead.
Yes,
balance is not easy.
it's not easy.
But you can think critically.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. And in Igbo language, they said, "Mberede keji amadike." Like when an action happens, you will now know how the person reacts.
Okay.
You understand? So you need to learn how to balance it. No matter the situation you find yourself, you have to balance it. Yeah. Maybe we might want to have this conversation in another episode, but we can also look at some women that want to tell you, I just want a man that is soft.
Okay.
She won't like that man.
Hold on. And I'm serious. Like, yes, this is our own perspective. Yeah. But at the end of the day, trust me, as a man, you need to stand on your feet to take every decision you want to take.
We'll have that conversation. You're about to trigger something that might cause problem. Because if you say you have to stand on your feet, I think it's just the women listening will say, so you want to take a decision for me, and all that. But I actually do get where you're coming from, because in the process of trying to lean towards not being too overbearing.
True.
You're unable to strike the balance. You might, like a pendulum, swing to the other side. PK.
Yeah, so let's keep learning, like Josh said. You see, because it's the opposite reaction. You see, things, we are being acted upon. Basically, we are the one that have had to continue to change and evolve and respond. So men need to be kind to themselves more than any generation.
Yeah.
So let's keep talking like this until we get it.
Well, thank you very much. My final thought would be to the women. And I'm saying this with all sense because I think the other part that men needs to listen to has been well, protest here in terms of balance. We must do that. But what I want to say is that there's a reason why men love sports. There's a reason why men love politics. The reason why for that is that all these things have rules.
Sure.
Men it's easier to deal with rules. You know that if I do this, if you like playing football, if you kick the ball as the opponent to the ball, that's corner kick to the opponent. You know that you have those rules. And sometimes unconsciously we want life to be like that. But unfortunately, life is not like that every time. Where you want it's easier. So at one moment, you need me to be that man that's able to fight for you. At one moment, you want me to be that man who is not aggressive, who is just your teddy bear that you want to cuddle with. So that's why I say it's to the women. You must also understand that it's not like a button that is switch on and switch off. If this thing we keep learning, I keep learning.
You need to understand.
And you also understand that these things is not something that just you don't have a wand that you just throw out there and it meant change overnight. And thank you very much. I know Vic is able to say something.
I just want to say that the man you need versus the man you want.
Exactly, it's very important. And also very important you have those conversations. And because I also believe that irrespective of the traits, depending on the application, you can get the best out of it. And your ability to be able to either party, even as a man marrying a woman, there may be a trait that you may feel like this person is too much here, but if applied rightly, it can become a source of like a goal to you in terms of so the ability to learn both sides and be able to achieve our goals is what determines how far we can go. Masculinity, for me, I think it's under evolution. But somebody else will argue is under attack. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I'll be looking forward to getting a comment from you. Until next time, have a wonderful time.
Thank you.
Yes, there are conversations that men like to laugh and banter about. And then there are conversations that challenge the way of thinking. Those hard conversations that challenge your thinking, your thought process, and the man you are becoming. This season, those are the conversations we'll be having, ranging from brotherhood, relationship, spirituality, discipline, courage, sex, and many more. Join me, your host and your co-host PK, as we're tackling this topic. New faces, the regulars will be joining us as we talk about conversations that truly matter. Welcome to the Guys Connect Podcast, Season 4.